ever had the chance to buy something pretty cool, and for whatever reason you turn it down, and sometime later you regret turning it down because that thing you wanted for cheap is now, you know, $100, $200, costs a fortune? Well, that's what happened to me with Tool Salival. I saw this at McKay's once for about $50, and it was in good condition. For whatever reason, I turned it down, I guess because I wanted like 9 albums instead of one big thing. And I regretted that decision because when I went on Discogs later, on one of my Tool kicks, it was $100, the cheapest one. Fortunately, one of my followers was nice enough to sell me his copy for pretty cheap, and it's in mint condition, so thank you, Tom. You rule, man. Anyway, I was obsessed with Tool when I was like 12, 13 years old, and for whatever reason, I have never owned Salival. What Salival is, basically, it's a CD and DVD combo, or CD and VHS combo. The video portion of this is basically music videos up to that point, and the CD is a hybrid of live tracks and unreleased tracks. But since there aren't a lot of videos on the packaging of this album, I'm just going to do this right quick, just going to show off the packaging. Has a slipcase right here, Tool, very nice. Looks like Christmas DMT on the back right here. And has this guy, and he's got stretchy arms like Freddy Krueger. This is Freddy Krueger raw. And of course, you know, it flaps open, and there's red velvet lining up the CD case. You know, given that this came out in December 2000, red velvet is a very Christmassy thing, so this would have been a good Christmas gift back then. Little did I know that I was buying the first pressing version of this. And the first pressing version, you can tell that's the first pressing because it has this weird square thing on the front of the booklet, and the booklet itself is pretty thick. The discs are housed in plastic holders, which is nice because, you know, paper sleeves, they suck. Everybody's doing them now, and I hate it. This booklet has a whole bunch of pages. There's conceptual art. There are pictures of the band playing live. And there are still images from the music videos. Now, the cool thing about this first version that amuses a lot of Tool fans for some reason, there are a bunch of typos in the liner notes. For instance, push it, separate words, stink fist, separate words, message to Harry Manback 2. There are a lot of typos here, and for some reason it amuses Tool fans because these typos got corrected in the second pressing of this. Speaking of typos and speaking of Tool, on the back of the Lateralis album, it's spelled Lateralis IS. That's the first 2 million copies of Lateralis. So, anyway, this is a limited edition set that was kind of hard to find in the 2000s and is pretty hard to find now, but if you can get yourself a copy, it's worth the investment. Because it opens up with Third Eye, and it's one of my favorite Tool songs ever, so it's so encompassing. And what's even better is it's a live performance and the dynamics are totally intact. And the audience was nice enough to behave themselves during the quiet parts. There were no drunk people going, woo! You know, during the soft parts. The second song on here is Part of Me from the Opiate EP, which means that this is OGT from '92 from the first EP. Okay, I'll stop. But even though there are a couple songs from some of the albums, you know, it's not really a greatest hits live, because like I said, it's a hybrid. You know, there are a couple live songs on here that weren't on any of the albums, like Merkaba, You Lied, which is a song by Peach, which was Justin's band before Tool. Let's see, there's also a really awesome cover of Led Zeppelin's No Quarter, which I personally find to be better than the original. As much as I love the original, Tool made it their own song. Tool can take any song and make it their own. It's really nice. And the final track on here is a joke track, LAMC. He's trying to call the Los Angeles courthouse to pay off a parking ticket, I guess, and the operator keeps telling him to make options for stupid reasons. And as it's going along, for 6 minutes at a time, as it's going along, the music's going like dun 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 dun, just adding to the stress level. I think we've all been there when we've, you know, been waiting on a phone call for a long time. And after some silence, there's a bonus track, Maynard's Dick. In typical Tool fashion, it's full of humor. This is a really cool live set, the sound quality is really good, the studio tracks are pretty good, and this all goes back to owning things physically, because Tool always has really good packaging for their albums. Like Lateralis, you know, there's that whole transparent thing with the artwork where you flip it and little elements build up to it. Then of course 10,000 Days with the 3D glasses that take forever to figure out how to use, but once you do use them, it's like, whoa, baby. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, thank you, Tom, for selling this to me, and thank you for watching. grind on.